Oh, is it? Or are we on video? I
Yes,
think we're live.
we are.
Okay.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
people.
Wake up. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of your week. All right. So today we're just going to chat because we don't always like to talk about marketing.
Yeah, there's just some things today we actually thought about it, so it wasn't like we didn't put some consideration into it. But we had such a weird night last
Oh
night.
my God.
So we decided that we would talk about things that Tolerance Thursday.
And would you say anything?
Yeah, would you say anything if this happened to you? So last night, Di and I decided we were going to go out to dinner. Nothing crazy. Nothing
Just
crazy.
a regular old night. Let's go get something to eat.
Just regular night because we don't cook. So anyhow, so we get to the restaurant, and there's one thing, and I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person that feels this way. I don't know, but it just annoys me when I go to a restaurant and I'm sitting there eating, and they start sweeping underneath my table. I mean, is that normal?
Do you say
Because it
anything?
seems to happen to me all the time.
Do you say anything though? Like, I honestly don't like it at all either. But you're eating your food, and and unfortunately, this one didn't speak English, so you can't. It was the person who cleans the place. So they're looking for something to do, just to do their job, right? And you can't say shush, go away, or and then just sit there and you gotta lift your feet.
I don't, it does happen a lot to me. I don't know if it happens to other people, or is it just my bad luck? I was a waitress for years. I worked in food and beverage for years, and I don't ever recall doing that to people.
No, but I was just like, this is not happening, right?
It's crazy.
So finally they stopped sweeping. Now this is a whole night. They finally stopped sweeping. Okay, so we're in there and we're talking about stuff, just in
Getting
general.
our morning show together.
Yeah, like we have a rule about don't go on your phone when you're eating. It's the only time that people can, like talk or strategize or whatever the heck you're doing with your life, right? And all of a sudden, you hear. All of a sudden, now I'm sorry. I have a very, very weak stomach. And the guy next to us must have had a severe
sinus issue.
A severe sinus issue. And I swore it was like being next to I don't want to be cruel, but like a pigsty when they're all snorting. And all I can hear as they go to take a bite is that wonderful sound.
That's not.
I was like looking at Robin. Just no words came out. Just none. No words whatsoever. Just, I think, a horrifying look on my face because I'm just I'm sorry. I don't if you have issues and
yes, be polite.
Yeah, if
but
you
do
have
you say anything?
Do you say I wanted to? I mean, my facial expression probably gave him a clue or two.
No, listen, you know what Di does? I'm going to tell you what Di does. Don't even let her kid you. Somebody will do that in the restaurant, and it does happen to us a lot. I hate to say that.
Why.
I don't know if it's the stuff blooming.
And it's a dude. It's a dude. You see two women. You're not supposed to do stuff like are you?
Well, I don't know. See, and that's the question we have for people. Do you guys have this problem? But listen, this is Di. I'm not going to kid you not. We're sitting there, and we're going to eat, and this guy starts having sinus issues, apparently. But maybe it's a regular thing. I don't know. And all of a sudden, Di's like, oh, come on. Are you serious? That was Di. Do you have to, are you serious? But she's doing it from like a table away. So.
But he was oblivious anyway. He's just oblivious, and the wife, she must be used to it. Because,
Well, it could be a problem. So you guys put in the comments what you think there, guys. I mean, do you think
even if you're watching
something?
the replay, just do you say anything, or do you just sit there, or do you leave the restaurant? Because as we continued on into the night, the guy gets his food. Like, I don't know where he was raised. I just don't. But the amount of sounds that somebody makes while they're eating.
I don't know. Maybe
like, is there a manual that you're supposed to follow when you're a dude? Because I don't know. Like, some kind of guys can do this, but girls can't manual. And
I would really hope a woman wouldn't do that in public.
I started just guessing that, and this, no offense to anybody who has people in prison, but it's the only thing I could think of that would make somebody eat like that. Like eat like somebody's gonna steal their food.
You're reliving the moment, aren't you?
How do you do that? You might as well have picked up the plate and just licked it.
You are not.
I am not being.
Right.
I am not being professional.
She didn't get enough sleep last night, I promise you. But anyhow, so moving on with our day. So we want to know, like, what annoys you? What makes you crazy little things? Because I can tell you one of the things that just drives me nuts. And I don't know, maybe, a lot of these things might be just a generation or the way you're raised, or because, I'm certain that's probably what my issue is. But one of the things that makes me totally crazy is when I go to the grocery store and people just leave their shopping carts without returning them.
Serious?
It makes me nuts. You know why? Because it's like, I don't know. I think it's just rude to the employees. Like it's an entitlement.
Because the employees are working.
Well,
they're
nowadays they're not.
Around. They're standing around.
But just because they don't do anything doesn't mean you should, get on that level.
No, but it's while you're in the store. While we're on pet peeves, I guess, right? But while you're in the store, this happened to me just the other day, I swear. I'm in the store and I just had like one or two things to get. I knew exactly where I was going. Did you ever go down the aisle and you got the aisle hogger? They have their cart, and this particular person happened to be a little large in size, and so you're going down the aisle. I needed coffee, and he was in the coffee aisle, and he's leaning over his cart, and he's just like going really slow. Like, I thought, because he was leaning, I'm like, is this guy all right? Is he having a stroke? What's happening? And he's leaning over. Then finally, I got a little peek around him, and he's on his phone, and he's texting oblivious to the fact that I'm trying to get around him, and I could not get around him, and he's standing in front of the coffee. Right. And no, don't make, like, you can't stand between me and my coffee. So I finally go, how you try and let
those noises that drive you nuts.
You finally get the guy out of the way of the coffee, and he doesn't say sorry, kiss my ass, nothing. He just keeps doing what he's doing, and it's his store. At that moment, it is his lane, his store, his time.
Well, I think that's just the way we've become. I think that's the society that
we're a rude society.
No, seriously, technology. I think we spend so much time on our phones that we're just oblivious to. I mean, we're addicted to them.
Yeah, like I feel bad for kids in a sense, because by the time they're 12, they're gonna have neck problems. Like.
I mean, it is true. It's very sad when you think about it. That's why we don't do the phone thing when we're out to dinner or whatever, because
we laugh at the other people on their phones.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's just some things you don't do,
So there are so many other things that we could like, oh my God, there's so many things that we could talk about. And I'm sure y'all could talk about all the time.
Yeah, let us know
about
some
little
of your
things.
biggest pet peeves.
Put in your pet peeves. You can tell a whole story if you like. I would enjoy reading them because I can't be the only idiot that gets bothered by human nature.
I mean, just some things are crazy. Like it always happens to us when we go out to eat. No lie, we were in Florida, and we went out
Should
to
I put my
dinner.
coffee down?
No, seriously, this is just weird. I don't know. I don't. Maybe it was Florida. I don't know. It's just weird.
This is real time. I'm gonna let my dogs out.
But we actually went out to eat, and we were having steak, and Di wasn't feeling very well, so she decided, I really can't eat this. I'm, not, and I was like, okay. So I kind of finished my meal as we were sitting there talking, and then we get ready to get up to go leave, and this guy, this is no
Oh, no, I know where you're going.
this
The guy was sitting right behind me.
he was sitting behind him, comes over to Di and says, "Are you gonna eat that?"
It was a stick.
Now, I didn't know this guy personally,
We've seen him around.
but we had seen him a lot. So he's not homeless. He wasn't just hungry. I mean, he used to come to our karaoke gigs and stuff. So we knew who he was. It wasn't like he was just homeless.
But we
person.
didn't talk. Like, we didn't have a relationship. We didn't talk or
nothing. I mean, like, I don't even remember his name. I don't even think I remember his name. But because we didn't never have like real conversation. But he just walked over to her, grabbed her steak, sat down and just started eating it.
behind the booth that we were sitting in. I swear to God, that's exactly what happened. He leaned over and said, "Hey, are you going to eat that?" And I went, at first I thought he was working me. And I go, "Oh, no, I'm done."
I mean, seriously, how would you feel about
And
that?
he
if that
just
happened to you?
grabbed my plate, sat in the booth behind us.
I just started eating. Like, man, this is the best meal I've had in a while.
Well, hey, however you got to feed yourself.
But I mean, don't let it go to waste, dude. If you
But
want to eat it, go ahead.
But I found that I didn't say a word. I think because I was just so stunned. And when I'm stunned, sometimes I'm just.
No, she gets that look on her face like,
Sometimes I'm just speechless. Like, because there's so many things, when you think about it, there's so many things that happen in real life that you just go, what?
like, did that really happen?
That really, 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 really did just happen.
Like, I'll tell you stories, funny stories, when Di and I first met. And I'm horrible about directions, okay? I'm going to put this out. I am totally directionally challenged. And I was in the middle. This is no
This
lie.
might be one of those you had to be there, but nothing is as funny.
But I just don't understand people, So this guy calls me and he says, "Hey, can you guys come out? I'm doing this Renaissance thing and blah, blah, blah." So I said, yeah, well, we'd love to go see it. But I was in the middle of working, which was probably the first downfall. And so I said, "Listen, I don't know how to get there." So he said, "Oh, it's real easy. Let me tell you." So I said, "Okay." So I go to write the directions down, and I don't know, maybe I got sidetracked. I don't know. So I tell him, I said, "Listen, all right, well, we'll see you Friday." So Friday comes, and I said, "Hey, Di, are we going to go to that Renaissance thing?" She's like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." So we get in the car.
Oh, do you have the directions?
Yes. Yeah, I got the directions. So I grab my little notepad, and off we go. Well, I hand them to Di and say, "All right, so you tell me where I got to go."
And everything was going along. Now, this place was like an hour and 15 minutes from where we were in Florida.
Well, I mean, it could have just been my directions. I don't know. We could have been right next door to the place. Who knows? But, so anyhow, and not only this, listen, I'm going to say this because this is one of my weaknesses and I'm just going to put it out there. Not only am I directionally challenged, but I have a great deal of anxiety when I don't know where I'm going.
She does. That's a little quirk of hers. She's a very confident person. She can get through anything. She can do whatever she wants. Driving,
The
Yeah, not
old,
so much.
the older I get, it's like the more anxiety I have about being in places I don't know where I am, right? This was like 20 years ago, so I shouldn't have been too crazy. But anyhow, I'm driving, and I said, Di, I said, where do I go now? She goes, I have no clue. I said, what do you mean you have no clue? She's like, you didn't finish the directions.
This is what happened. I'm reading the directions, and then I go to turn over the paper that she wrote the directions on, and I said, Robin, where are the rest of the directions? What do you mean? She says. I go, where are the rest of the directions? How do we know it? We only know it's on Spirit Lake Road.
Yeah, Spirit Lake Road. We will never forget that now. So she says, listen, she says, pull over, we'll ask directions. Okay, surely somebody out here knows where the Renaissance thing is. I mean, it can't be that hidden, right?
So here comes.
Of course, I would call them, but they have no phones because it's the Renaissance thing. And so they don't use their phones. So I can't get directions.
So needless to say, I spot this red car. I'll never forget it. I spot this red car that just pulls in.
Parked a little crooked.
He parked a little crooked. I go, he must be a local.
Yeah, he must be drunk, is what she said. And then she says to me, ask him, because drunks always know where they live. They know.
They don't stray far from
They don't stray far. So he must live here. So I said, okay. Again, this was 20 years ago. Thank God.
So I'm going to tell you what I see. I hardly knew Robin at that time. Like, we had met shortly before that, right? And it was just something to do together. I didn't know anything about, any of her likes, dislikes, whatever, right?
Personal space is a thing for me.
Robin does not like somebody in her space.
And now we know why.
So Robin rolls down her window and says to the man,
excuse me, could you help us with some directions, please?
Oh, sure.
Have you ever seen that movie Ghost? Where Patrick Swayze sticks his head.
No, it wasn't Patrick. It was the ghost.
Yeah,
it was Patrick.
He sticks his head in the bus. Y'all remember
that?
The train or whatever it is. He sticks his head through it.
And he looks all around.
This guy stuck his head
in
my window. I mean, he was like this far from my face.
And he was drunk.
Giving us directions.
So this is what I see from the back end. I see Robin's head going.
Because he was spitting on me every time he said Spirit Lake Road. So
this might be one of those things you had to be here.
But it was horrible.
But every time he said Spirit, like this whole
I was dodging. Yeah, I was just really dodging.
I'm seeing from the back of her head, her dodging and weaving. And I'm like,
Needless to say, we never got to the Renaissance place because I was mortified about the directions that I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm done. Now it's over because he like invaded my little space. And now I know why I have such anxiety over that.
But he was like in the window and I couldn't help but laugh, but I wasn't helping at all. I was
because all she could do was laugh.
I was like, when you get laughing so hard, you're snorting. Well,
she was snorting.
I was snorting, Norton, because I was done. I was done. There was nothing funnier in my life at that point, I think, because it was just like her head kept going back every time the man spoke. So she finally goes, dude, you need to back up.
This is my space. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I believe we know where we're going now.
All right, you got it now? All right. And he started to talk about the Spirit Lake Road.
I mean, that man must have said that road 15 times. And every time he spit on me, I'm dodging. It was crazy.
Oh, my God. It was one of the funniest moments that I will never forget. You have those moments where you feel like you're going to pee. You're laughing so hard. But I guess you had to
crazy.
be there.
It was crazy.
But that is a pet peeve of Robin's now, the personal space. So just leave a funny story or whatever about your personal space if it bothers you when people step into it, because we like actually
knowing you.
We do. We want you guys to get to know us, and this is a good way to get to know our little quirks.
Especially if Lewis is out there, because he makes me laugh. There's not a lot that can make me laugh. He makes me laugh. But Di has issues with my driving anyway.
Oh,
I do. She always has had issues with
Listen, I met
her.
her.
I'm a good driver, just so you know.
I met her in Florida. So I learned to drive in not New York City, but Long Island. I learned how to drive there pretty much, right?
That says it all right there.
So I don't speed.
No.
I'm not like a crazy New York driver. I'm very, very aware.
You're very cautious. You are.
Not too cautious. But at any rate, so I couldn't figure out for the life of me why Robin, when you have to make a left-hand turn and you can't make a left-hand turn correctly, why she would drive like 4 blocks up, turn left, and then turn left to come back just to turn down the street she was going to turn if she had gone left at the light. So I'm going, why in God's name do you drive like that? And she kept doing it over and over. And I kept laughing. I'm like, this woman.
It only took her 13 years to figure it out.
There's something wrong with this. Like, do you guys drive like that? Where did you learn how to drive? Like, don't you turn left at a light? Don't you pull up when the light is green and there's cars coming? Don't you pull up to the middle so that when the cars stop coming, you turn left? No.
My NOLA friends know why.
So I go to New Orleans with her, where Robin is from. I take a visit. Not only does Robin do that, the entire state of Louisiana does that. It's do not make a left here. Go up and then it says no U-turn. So you have to wait 15 blocks before they allow you to make a U-turn that way you could have avoided if you just turned left. So I don't like Louisiana is crazy. People are great place to visit, I guess, but driving, I wouldn't be on the road. I do not. Every time we have to go there for any reason.
And we go there a lot, just so you know.
It's where she's from, so I gotta go see my friends. And I'm like,
we have to fly out of there. We fly out of there, so
the airport that goes to most places is there. So yes, we do have to go. And I fear for my life. Oh my God, she had a friend drive us to the airport one day.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
It was very sad, but I think the girl had just lost someone in her family, but she shouldn't have offered to give us a lift from the hotel to the airport. I feared for my life. In 10 minutes, I thought, I'm not going to live to see tomorrow. Let me start canceling all my stuff. But, oh, Lord.
People drive differently there. They do.
Differently. I think they made it up. They made up a whole new way of driving.
Well, but, New York is just as crazy.
Listen, I don't drive in New York City. I don't have a death wish. Like, I think all those taxi cab drivers, they're all, like in their last life, they were like kamikaze pilots or something because they just don't know how to drive.
Yeah. So put in the comment section the craziest places that you've driven to.
Hey, Jimmy.
So now you know. Now you know, Jimmy, that's what happened to me. I had spit all over. That's it.
Yeah, but Jimmy, do you drive in New York City? Oh, you don't live in New York, but when you go there, I will not drive on the expressway. I will not drive in New York City. But anyway, so yeah, now I know exactly why Robin drives the way she does. It's terrifying. And I go up there to see my family. I literally hold on to that. Some people call it something else, but
it's called an oh shit bar.
The oh no bar. I fear for my life again. I am holding on to that when we're on the expressway, when we're going into the city. Like, oh my God, that is like they put that in there for people like me.
Yeah, I don't drive in New York. I mean, you talk about some serious panic attacks.
No, one time we had to go to one of my brothers was getting married,
Oh,
and we had this was one of her first visits to New York, and he got married on a boat.
which was beautiful.
It
by the
was.
way.
I think it was a Circle Line. Maybe
I know it was
it
beautiful. Went
was
around
a
the
private
Statue of
boat.
Liberty. It was beautiful.
It was
really
a
nice.
private boat, but I
Yeah.
think that Circle Line does the same kind of tour, and it went around the Statue of Liberty. But to get there, I said it shouldn't take that long.
3 hours.
Bet me, it was like 3.5 hours in traffic.
I said, and you know, at the time we were going to New York quite a bit. We would go, you know, at least 2 or 3 times a year. Now I only go once. She goes a lot, but I only go once. I'm not big on the.
I have to go, but I love my town. I do. I love where I used to live. I try and go there as much, and I always go to this restaurant called Flo's.
Oh no, I love that place.
That's always going to be there. That's always going to be a memory for me. And
That and what was that bar? Callahan? Is it Callahan?
no, it's Kavanaugh's.
Kavanaugh's. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. I love that bar.
She fell in love with Kavanaugh's there. So it doesn't matter about that, but we were just talking about pet peeves that you may have. That do you say anything? Like, I think Robin says my face says everything, and it does almost in every situation where we have. It's like my face will tell you you're not pleasing me.
Right. Well, now I'll tell you something that really bothered me the other day. And you know, I've been going to doctors in and out, you know, like crazy. And so this particular one was out in another area. And so Di rode with me. And so we get out there, one of those areas that I'm not familiar with driving. And so she drove me. But anyhow, so I'm sitting in the waiting room. So I says, well, you know, I'll sit out in the car. But then I got to waiting for quite a while. So she went ahead and came inside.
It was getting hot.
And so I'm sitting there and she comes and sits down next to me and this guy,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
this guy across from the lobby just like starts staring. Like,
Tell me if this has ever happened to
creepy.
you. It was like we watch a lot of ID,
We
the
do.
ID
We
channel.
really need to stop doing that.
So you know our brain cells are going off to somewhere else. But he just was one of those creepers, like almost. And he just kept staring. And it was like
He was there with his wife, by the way.
yeah. And when
I guess.
so Robin goes off into the doctor's office and I'm sitting there. And I said, all right, let me do something on my phone. But every time I looked up, he was staring.
I mean, it was like a creepy
staring,
stare.
like this, like, and he just kept looking. And I'm like, finally was like, dude, like under my breath, I'm like kind of going, dude, what is wrong with you?
I was so glad when I came out that he wasn't still there, but she wasn't there either. She left and went back in the car. But I mean, he was just really creepy. He was like an older guy, but he was just really, really, it gave me a very uneasy feeling. Not like just somebody staring, you know, but it was like he was like looking into her soul. He was staring so creepy. It was creepy.
It was.
Crazy.
But anyway, that took up our time, I'm pretty sure. So
Oh, it did.
yeah, it did. That was fun for me. I don't know if you guys found it fun,
Yeah,
but
Throwback Thursday.
yeah, throwback. It was like,
Spit on Robin Thursday.
at any rate, leave some comments and tell us what your pet peeves are. Like,
Where did you learn how to drive? That would be nice.
do you say anything when all this stuff is happening by you? Do you say anything? Because sometimes it's really hard to hold back. So let us know. We enjoy going back and forth with y'all. So you
Love the
guys
engagement.
have a really good day. Have
It's
fun.
almost Friday.
And don't forget to go out in the world and treat people kind, because that's the way this world could change a little bit
Yeah.
better.
We all need kindness.
We do. All right. And that's it for today. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day.
That's right.
Jimmy, it was nice seeing you on here.
Absolutely.
Very nice. And that's it.
That's it. Well, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.